I look at Jalen Hurts, and the thing that what I said earlier, I said this year was I didn't think Jalen Hurts was playing with the same passion that he played with before he got the contract. And I felt like he was trying to protect himself. I felt like he played too casual. And now you start to see the old Jalen Hurts back, the guy that's running, he's scrambling, he's getting rid of the ball quickly. I still think at times he holds the ball too long, but seeing him run and scramble and make plays and pick up first downs, that's what I'm used to seeing, running over people, being smart, sliding. That's what I'm seeing. And if they want to continue to ascend, the offense has to go through Saquon Barkley, then it goes through Jalen Hurts. When Jalen Hurts is the primary figure, that's when they struggle offensively. It comes down to Saquon Barkley, and he opens up everything in this offense.
They had a ridiculously bad trick play in the first half that resulted in Jalen Hurts getting hit hard. And I don't know what moment it was that caused the independent neurotrauma consultant to say, let's go into the blue tent. I don't know if it started with that. There was a moment down near the goal line on their scoring drive, field goal drive at the end of the half that I think was more immediate to get Hurts into the blue tent, but he did get evaluated for a concussion, and it might have been Kenny Pickett in the second half last night, but he passed the evaluation, but he took a big hit, and he takes big hits. And this is that, look at that. I mean, at some point you have to abort. Here he is. On that one, he gets up slowly. He didn't hit his head hard on the ground, but see how he's getting up slowly? And I didn't know if it's the ankle injury they've been trying to hide or some other injury, if he does have an ankle injury. But what, Rodney?
Did you say he didn't hit his head hard? Are you kidding me? From a guy that had 20 concussions, did you see his head slam on the back of that ground?
Let me see it.
Are you kidding me?
All right, I missed that. I missed that, Rodney. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was looking for more of a blow to the head on the way down, but you're right. He hit his head hard, and he struggled to get up. There he is.
Look how he's getting. Mike, listen to me. Look
you're
how
right.
he's getting up.
No, I hear you.
Mike, look how he's getting up. Look at his eyes. Look, it's no way he should have went right back in the game. I mean, look at him. He's laying on the ground. He hit his head. Pow! He gets up and he's like this. He has no idea where he's at. And then at one point, he actually touches his helmet. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous when he hit his head. Pow! Did you see how hard he hit? He slammed it on the ground. I didn't. That was ridiculous.
It happened so fast. It's like a cobra strike. When that head snaps and hits the ground like that, because I was looking for him to take a blow to the head on the way in. But yeah, how many guys have we seen get concussed? That's how Tua started down his path. Yep. Guys have that head whip and hit the ground. And even when it's not artificial turf, it's still hard ground that your head is bouncing off of. And he did struggle to get up. He did presumably have an ankle issue last week that they were trying to hide. I don't know for sure. Nick Sirianni claims he misspoke, but it sure seems like he has some stuff going on. And I admire the fact that he's kind of old school in his commitment to doing everything he can to be available for his team. But in this day and age, there's a greater sensitivity to making sure you're okay. You know, after the game, he said he beat the protocol. Well, it's not a game for you to try to win. It's for your own good. The protocol's there for your own good. It's not an impediment to you doing what you want to do. It's there to protect you from yourself. It's not something you should try to beat. And we see that all the time. Like, do these teams and do the independent neurologists treat it like a box you have to check so we can say, go, get back on the field? And the player definitely, 9 times out of 10, if not more, wants to get back on the field. I admire that, but there's a point where, dude, this is there for your own good.
Yeah, but the players, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the here and now. These guys are 20, 23, 25, 26 years old. These guys are young. They feel strong, and they feel like they can come back into the game. And they're not looking at long-term ramifications or anything like that. So, you know, that's why I said I look at the tape, and then when I saw his head slam, and when I saw the kid, he gets up and he starts doing his eyes like that, it brought me back to all the 20 concussions that I've had, Mike. And that's the first thing you do because you have no idea where you're at. You're like in space and you're trying to figure it out. Your teammates picking you up. All you feel is and see all these lights. And it's like you're dizzy. You don't feel good. And at that point in time, you can't tell me the independent neurologist looking at that tape over and over again, seeing his head being slammed, being slammed. I mean, that was something. I just don't know, how do you overlook that?
Well, and we see that all the time. All the different people that are at the game with the one job of spotting for potential concussions or other injuries that require evaluation. And we see it from time to time. There'll be a medical timeout, and they'll usher a guy to the sideline, and the announcers will be like, well, what are they doing? Well, somebody saw something that caused them to say, let's take a closer look at this guy. When we all see it except me, because I didn't see that the first time we showed it, but you're absolutely right. And the people who are there paid specifically to watch for blows to the head. How does nobody see that? And they have the tape. They can go look at it. They're not bound by the TV broadcast. They have access to all the angles. And it was the end of a drive. Eagles come off the field. Let's take a look at this guy. And for whatever reason, they waited until that moment on the drive that resulted in the field goal where he hit his head on the ground. And I'm not going to say it didn't seem very bad, because I need to do a better job of spotting these things myself. Thank God they don't have me up in that booth trying to spot these things, because it does happen fast. But when it happens, it's violent. And today's culture of the NFL is different. Guys understand when it's time to go get checked out, they get checked out. I can't imagine. And I mean, I'd like to take Rodney Harrison from 20 years ago and drop him into today's NFL and see what he'd do if someone tried to tell him he's going to go get a concussion evaluation. But you would adapt. You would adapt. It was a different game. It was a different world back then. Today's players, for the most part, adapt, but they still want to pass the test and go back in.
Yeah, most guys say you see them hit their head, the first thing they do is they grab their shoulders. They grab their shoulder. Oh, my shoulder is hurting. My shoulder's hurting, knowing that they don't know. They have no idea where they're at in life. And that's what players do. And guys like me, we're going to do the same thing. I think even Troy Polamalu, he had said it years ago before he retired, no player is going to admit that their head is hurting. And that's one of the things that I always come out and I talk about. Being a former player, saying, hey, man, these rules are set in place to benefit you long term. Right now, you don't understand because you're young, you're 20-something years old, you feel like you can recover. But if you don't take care of yourself now, when you're 40, when you're 50, you're going to feel the effects of those head hits and that trauma to your head. And it's something that you're not going to want to deal with the rest of your life.
And that moment of him getting up, I think he was caught between the reality that if you lay there and gather yourself for a little bit, you don't show any signs that you might be wobbly, but it's that old school wiring of if you get hit hard, get up right away to show them that it didn't affect you. He was kind of caught between those two, and it worked from his football perspective. It didn't work from his long-term, short-term health perspective because he should have been out of the game at that point. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.